I don't know why I do that every time. Good morning. Okay, so this is going to be the slap happy hour. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this, and we'll get into that shortly. But good morning, Dana. But first, good morning and welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. I'm seeing some early morning risers. Good to see a few of you, Dana, Debbie, Rachel, Nicole, especially Dana and Rachel. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, I'm not kidding when it comes to being uh, uh, slap happy, and if I seem out of it, there's a good reason for that. So and, I'm gonna put that one up. Thank you, Dana. That's a definite keeper. That would be true, is what Dana is saying. Uh, yeah, I got home from our old mill. Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we got home from the mill at, geez, I think it was 340, 345. I know. Well, oh geez, you saw that fast, Nicole? Should I hold them up, Nicole? Should I model them? Oh, there you go. How about that? I'll just adjust my mic like that. Nicole, you will appreciate them because if I flip my hand around, they'll look specific. So, hey, Chris, what's happening? They may look familiar to you guys. Well, some of you. and I have to say, thanks to my daughter, she was the one that did them. So as I model my fingers for you all, that just seems weird, doesn't it? And they're all gel polish and they're coated. It was great. It was a great process and stuff. I mean, it was very ingenious of watching her, like, uh, put these all on and stuff. So, yep, Debbie, that's it. They are. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Hey, Denise. Hey, Tanya. Good morning. Good morning, Rhonda. Hey, Carmen. What's up, Dennis? Yeah, no, I mean, it was, I wanted to still, it's kind of fun putting them on, over the weekend and stuff like that because I'm still trying to be a little bit professional when it comes to my day job. So I obviously don't I usually don't wear them during the week. So, luckily, I'm in the process of a 4-day weekend. So I still can keep these, through Monday. So that's the plan at this point, is to not take them off until Monday. So, so yeah. That's weird. I'm gonna show those off. But then again, like I said, I appreciate my daughter for putting those on. Hey, Donna, good morning. And so yeah, so like I said, definitely gonna be tired. You may or not have seen it. So, and a lot of you, when I post these, when I get the show ready and I try to, get the link up so you guys can hit the reminder. So, hey, Sharon, good morning. Good morning and goodbye. Have a good day. Have a good Easter, which I will say, before we get any further, and I'll say it at the end. So, anybody, that's celebrating Easter this weekend, especially tomorrow. So, happy Easter to each and every one of you. And hopefully you guys will have a good time, with friends, family, all the little kiddos. You can't go wrong with all the egg hunts and, decent food. So hopefully anybody that's just in and out real quick, have a good Easter. So, and I know a lot of people are even starting today. So that's, sometimes when you got bigger families or you just, the way situations roll. So you obviously will be shifting. Luckily, I'm only doing one. So I'm kind of happy about that. So we're going to be over here tomorrow. Hey, Carrie, good morning. And everybody's coming to my house tomorrow. So luckily it's not that many people. So we got both sets of grandparents and then my brother and his wife. So, be decent, and obviously the four of us here. So yeah, so it'll be kind of fun. But it's at this point, I mean, other than the Easter and what it represents to a lot of people and around the world, but it is kind of also fun for the kids to even with my kids, just about to have a birthdays at the end of May. So even my oldest is 13, about to turn 14. So it's still okay. you know, don't mind an Easter egg hunt and an Easter basket, with some goodies in it. And cheers to all of you. This special special brand that I am drinking is super important, and I think I talked about it one time before. But I whipped this specific one out real this one out is because it's called Death Wish coffee. It just packs just a little bit more punch, a little bit more caffeine kick and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I need it. I need it because I am running on only 3 hours of sleep. So that's again why the whole slap happy aspect of it is. But then again, would you guys expect anything less from me? With the fact that uh, I'm trying to push, being happy and fun, and you know, because who knows, a lot of you might be if you guys aren't having parties or celebrating Easter today, you might be prepping for it tomorrow. So give you that little bit of motivation, right? So, and good luck with you, Dennis, next week, man. You'll definitely have to hear the at least the short version of it when you get done with it. But so I may crazy. I better slow down because I'm going to run out. And I didn't bring my water. I usually always bring a water that's off camera, and I didn't do that this time. So I might be parched by the end. Who knows? Maybe I'll have to end the show a few minutes early just because I'm parched. But so I was starting to say that I didn't, normally I kind of try to put in the show notes if you ever really pay attention to them, or, in parentheses type of thing. So I tried to, capture like what we're going to be talking about, or at least what sort of the main, gist of today's show is. And I had originally, a top secret thing that I thought was going to happen. And just, hey, good morning, Kelly. Kelly, cheers. Death Wish coffee right here, baby. Yeah, you did, Dennis. Yeah, you did. You showed me a few things, and you posted it on your Toledo Spirit Hunters page. So, um, yeah, once you get the series done, then everybody will be able to check it out. So, but yeah, I mean, I had an idea that I was going to do, and didn't work this time, but it doesn't mean that won't in the future. So I'm not going to reveal what was going to be going on. So I'll definitely I'll definitely be holding on to, and I'm laughing at Kelly. So yep. But so I'm not going to talk about it now because I want to save it for at least another future episode. And but still had a great time because I know at least a lot of what I'm going to talk about, is last night. Obviously, certain people. I mean, again, I didn't really ask anybody's permission, so I probably, unless they chime in the chat room saying it's okay, but I'm not going to really reveal names and things like that again, because I'd rather them be okay with it. So, but last night, like I always, we were hosting a private investigation at the old mill. That's true. Well, you know what, Dana, I am going to touch on that. So, well, part of it. Just wait, Dana. Just wait. So hold it. I'm gonna get up to that. Let me prep real quickly. So, hey, Tina. Good morning. So, uh, boo. Yes. Well, okay. So see, I got okay. So see, we got a few people that are okay with it. Okay. I I'm not going to put that one up yet, but I might have to scroll back to it. But yeah, last night, a lot of you, I've seen these particular characters, and I'm going to call them characters for a moment. So, but we had a private investigation at the old mill, and typically, I don't give key information of who's there because it's their night. They paid to be there, so I'm not going to share stuff. But at least I give a general view of it. But it ended up being a hilarious. Hey, Shannon, cheers. Man, I'm going to be done with that before I know it. But I was, again, I knew everybody, which was really cool. And so there was a lot of great people there, and like 5 members of a particular local team, and then a lot of friends of theirs and stuff that got to show up. And again, I knew pretty much everybody, so that was always kind of fun and cool. And so yeah, Jeff, Dana, and Rachel and her daughter, and then again, there's a few others that are in the chat that I'm not. I didn't see anything. They said they could say their name, but I would call them out. I mean, one of them I would call out because they run another local location, so He probably would. That's why I'm not saying it. I didn't say the team name. Did you notice that, Jeff? So, um, but yeah, but that was kind of cool, and so it ended up being fun because Jeff and Dana kind of made this private investigation into kind of a fun little event. I mean, I guess you can call it that, but yeah, it was like the running joke was the Adam the Black Swamp Mediums fan club was all getting together to hang out. And so that was the hilarious part about it, and like you guys know, I mean, if I can't make a joke or laugh, I'm going to figure out, I'm either going to make somebody laugh or, if I got to be the butt end of a joke, that's cool. I'm okay with that. That's true. That's true, Dana. You are. So, I mean, I could just call it out, but, I, so there was a lot of fun things, and there was some information I did know, and there's some information I didn't know, but it was kind of neat to sort of see a bunch of shenanigans happen. And hang on, Kelly, I'm getting there. Just I'm getting there. If you've noticed, I'm really zipped up, really tight right now. So let's see. Wait a minute. Wait, get the right angle. Look at that. Look at that tree right there. This way. Um, but so one of the earliest things that was going to happen was again the whole factor of the joke of having a Black Swamp Medium fan club. And there was a cool thing that Dana did where she created shirts. No, you're good, Kelly. They're uh she designed some quick shirts, and I will be modeling for you shortly. But I have to zip them up because you're going to find out real quickly why I have to zip it up a hoodie, even though I don't want to be all like warm and stuff, but I kind of have to, because I wouldn't have this stuff displayed behind me if I so you'll see. But Dana whipped up these shirts, and so the joke was is Jeff was going to have this, he wore a different shirt, and that's right. Wore a different shirt. And so you're going to see a logo, on the front, and then you're going to see the back. Now my back's going to be a little bit different than what Jeff's was, but the thing is on the back of Jeff's shirt, it says Black Swamp Medium Fan Club, #1 fans, excuse me. And so the flip is Dana then made me a shirt, because on, the Boo Productions, on Boo Bites show, there was a time where Jeff was joking around, and he was the Green Swamp Medium. And so it kind of stuck. So that was where it kind of twisted into something kind of hilarious. And then that was one of the first jokes that went down. So, and even more hilarious is that, so Jeff gets his shirt and goes outside around the corner of the mill. I grabbed my shirt and went into a specific place in the mill. What's funny enough, and this was later, Dana brought it up to me, that there's an emergency door where I was at. On the other side of that door was where Jeff was changing his shirt, and yet I'm literally feet away from him changing my shirt. So it makes it even I don't know if Jeff knew that yet, but that what makes it even more hilarious that we were literally feet apart doing the exact same joke to each other. So I'm going to take my hoodie off with the green screen still lit up, and then I'm going to go in and shut the green screen off, because you will see the logo at first, but obviously I'm going to blend into nature, so I will look slightly like the Predator, but at the same time I figure it'll look like I got remote viewing going on, where I just kind of have this floating head. So you guys are going to you'll get a big kick out of this. So I'm going to move the mic for a second, but check this out. I'm disappearing. Camouflage. So there's the logo. And then I will shut the green screen off, so that way you can actually like see things. You can see how green I really am. So this is hilarious. Okay. Here we go. Ready? You guys get to see the green screen. It's very rare that you guys get to see this. Ooh. Oh my God, it's a green screen. So there's that. A hilarious little guy, man. I like that. And yes, I do have to move my beard out of the way. So I'm going to turn around now. Hopefully it's not too bad. And I do have to move my hair around. For those that were there last night, no jokes about the hair. I'm serious. No jokes. Because I'm going to make sure you don't laugh at me. So, okay. Hopefully it works. Yeah, it looks like I'm working. So, um, and I will have to put this back on because you're not going to see anything. So, or I'm not going to see you guys. And it's going to get annoying after a while. So, boom. Hey, Thomas. So, um, that's hilarious. But and thanks to Dana for the shirt and the hilarious prank on Jeff to me and back. So I mean, it was kind of hilarious, but you know, it was so much fun. But you know, you gotta have some fun. Again, if you can't have some, you can't laugh at yourself or laugh at some, have a good time with people and that you really like being around. That was the fun thing. Oh, see, there you go. Don't tempt me, Jeff. Don't tempt me. It is. That's the thing, Debbie. I tell you a joke. I think it's kind of like remote viewing. You just kind of floating into space. Yeah, and it's true. That is true. So, um, and then one of the other things that was going to go down, but obviously, you try to set up a lot of fun, and then there's some things that worked out and some that didn't. But there was going to be all kinds of awesome autograph signings and stuff like that. But eventually, I did sign Jeff's chest, for lack of a better way to describe that. But I did autograph his chest, which was hilarious because he started panicking so much. He couldn't understand why Dana's ripping his shirt off. And I saw the look, and he's like trying to grab and pull his shirt, and then I get in there real fast just to get it signed on him. But he's got a nice little right over his heart too, which is even more funny. So he's got a big autograph of me. Not my best work, but to go as quick as I could because it was hilarious. But Jeff's got the marking of the Black Swamp. Oh, gee. Well, I would say yes, because I really have never done that before. And it is, Dana. It's going to be a long time before he gets that out of there. Oh, man. And Kelly. The big sled. Oh, man. That's good stuff. But, that was, again, whether I'm the one being a part of it or taking a little bit of heat, or being the butt end of a joke, I'm okay with that. I do not have a problem. It's too much fun. I mean, again, it's what we all need. I talk about it all the time, and I think we all agree. Everybody's got to laugh, and have some fun. I mean, we need it. We all need it. I mean, we've all had a couple rough years, and to finally be able to get back around, and we're all, I mean, just living life again like we did. And so now it just, in a way, you kind of see some appreciation for being around people, whether you know them really well or you just know them, met them a few times. I mean, that's so crucial for us all. And even then, not knowing somebody that much and just spending a few minutes, just hearing something, whatever it is. I mean, it could just be, boy, what about that weather today, man? Jeez. So but that's what we need. And so yeah, we had some fun, and there were some other jokes and things like that, but some of them I'm not going to talk about on air. But those that were there, and witnessed it, know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was fun messing around, and again, just all kinds of jokes going back and forth. And but at the same time, I mean, they were there to investigate, so we certainly had a good time. And there was a lot of I went to a lot of, I got to, tag along and jump into certain areas and stuff like that. But, it's like the thing I found out that last week we were supposed to have a private and it didn't work out, but the majority of the team made it. And unfortunately, like everybody that on the team Swippy that was there, was talking about the fact that it wasn't active at all. I mean, didn't feel anything. The energy was like gone. It was, just like essentially dead. And and it happens. Anybody that's ever been to a haunted location, or like some of us that are have locations that we host at, you can't just poke them with a stick and hope that they're going to react. It doesn't work that way. And even in special shows, where animals are trained to do tricks and things and stuff, you just, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can't get upset over it. And so it was interesting to think that last week nothing was going on. And a lot of the team that's there, a lot of them are sensitive. Some of them have a lot of mediumship abilities, and developing that stuff further. And to even have them not really reacting or feeling or seeing or sensing, all that stuff, it's odd. And but then again, our location, the old mill, just can go quiet for a week. And it's so weird because it is rare. And I mean, we always hope that the dead nights aren't, when there's a lot of guests there. But again, it's never a guarantee. And we see it once in a while. And I mean, the last time I've seen a true dead night like that, which I wasn't there, I couldn't make it, but a true dead night like that, was years ago. And it was the one time it happened, just was when we were busy. We had a super busy year, and we were there like 37, 39 times out of the 52 weeks. And with that being as intense as it was all year long, there was one time that we went there and absolutely nothing all night. And when you guys come out, if you ever come out, if we tag along with you, if you want to just kind of help spike up the activity, because obviously our spirits know who we are. We're friends, we're family basically at this point. And when we walk into a room, they just kind of light up. They're like, oh my gosh, this member's here or that team member's here. And it's like, okay, cool. We feel more comfortable that we can, do something, whether, it's just being around us, or, messing with an EMF, or maybe saying an EVP to somebody. And, and occasionally, pop up on a camera or video footage. And so the, you know, we just always hope, and, if we ever see what happens. So, but, yeah, but it was neat to get to go around in the, I don't know how much I'll share on all of it, but I probably won't say exactly, what was going on. Well, I take that back. The first time I got, I was still kind of just, said there were so many people I knew. So it's always like trying to catch up with everybody for a little bit. And so once the guests were going out, and talking to people, I, was checking in with the team and stuff like that. Cause it's been, weeks since I've really seen some of them. And so, just catching up and talking about the things. And, I get a text to go upstairs. And so I go up to the second floor, and I, was trying to see what was happening. And so the, a couple of our members were there, and so I was just trying to see, because you get in a room, and typically on nights that we're not, we didn't pay to be there because we're the host team, so I wasn't really tuned in. And uh granted, with everybody that we knew that was there, it was kind of fun to tune in. And so, you, like I said, for me, it's, it's an on off switch, with the occasional dimmer where I just want to see if something's happening, but not get all the information flooding in. But I just kind of hit the switch, and went full on, and at times. And uh, it was kind of neat because up on the second floor, you never know. Again, you never know what areas of the mill are going to be good that night and stuff like that. Okay, well, thanks, Dana. And again, you never know what's going to be, like second and third floor can be really active, at times. Then it could be kind of just so, and then sometimes one floor will be better than the other. And you have no. Hey, Linda, good morning. Oh, wow. Well, good luck. Happy hunting down there. Yeah, I was there in 2019 for the first time, so that's a good place. Yeah. Hopefully you'll you get some experiences down there. That'll be cool, man. Good luck. I can't wait to hear what happens. Um but so there was a couple kids up there, and I'm gonna keep their names hidden for now. But they've been hanging out a little bit more, and a couple of our members have noticed them a little bit more extensive. And I haven't tapped into them as much, so I haven't had a lot of conversation because in some way, if certain spirits are more, I hate to use the word clingy, but more connected to somebody else, then that's great. I mean, like, I'm not going to sit there and interfere or, be like, well, I want to talk to you too. I mean, well, I do, but, you know, at the same time, I don't want to. It's great when you can have that connection, like, with Marie in the basement for me, you know, everybody can talk, connect or that does mediumship and things like that. But, at the same time, it's like, hey, it's all good, but, with the kids, they definitely are a little bit more connected to a couple of our members. And again, I didn't ask them to say their names. And granted, I know they probably wouldn't care, but I'm just being cautious because I don't want to be in trouble. but, yeah, so I mean, it was neat, and they were, the one was trying to connect with the kids, and the other one too, isn't full on mediumship, but she's working on it too, but she's real sensitive. So they were, kind of going back and forth, and you got a couple people that were brand new, some that have done a little bit, like Dana just said, Lisa and Rick have been to, a place before, so they have a little bit of an idea of what's going on, but it was fun because they, I just jumped in there and just kind of slipped in. And then, I was trying to see where things were, what was going on. Cause again, you walk up there, you can feel it, but you can't see where they are. And so eventually I was standing near my one team member, and I kept getting pulled behind me a little bit. So I look over, and sure enough, I see, one of the little girls, which I'll at least, give gender. And so she was kind of go inside of a kind of a closed off area. So she was kind of moving around. And so it was so funny because she, knew that I was looking at her. So she knew I was locked in. And so she was trying to walk away and go to the other side. So what I do, it's like a fast walk. I kind of whipped around the displays and got to the other side where she was going. And I, went over there. Now it wasn't to scare her, but it was just to kind of, you know, see what's going on, see why she's moving, over to this side. And so, uh, gee, hey, he did feel it though. He did feel it, Jeff. That's all that matters. And, but I tracked her down, and so I was standing there, and she was kind of hidden a little bit, but what was fun was she kept pointing at to some of the guests that were down a little bit, probably a good, 6 to 7 feet away. She kept pointing at them, and I'm like, okay. And so she and she sorry, I'm laughing at Dana. She so the little girl was sitting there, and eventually she started kind of moving out. Now I could physically feel her at this point. Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. And so I felt the little girl, and she came out, and she was kind of standing, close to me. And um I had one of my other team members, the one that's super sensitive but working on some mediumship. I call out to her. I said, "Hey, come here." And so she come over here, and I said, "Get down." She gets down, and I said, "Put your hand out." And she was just like, "Oh yeah," because she could feel it. Because again, she's, working on it too. And so, "Hey, Margaret, no worries." And so she's feeling it. And then I call out one of the guests, because this is one that, uh, um, well, I guess I can say her name. She told me I could. So Rachel, earlier was, I told Rachel, I said, "Come over here." And I said, because I wanted her to experience something. So, "Hey, Jen." And so I had her come over, and I said, "Okay, close your eyes, take a deep breath." Because I wanted her to just let things out. Because obviously, if you're going to try things like that, and I did say the bad word, I didn't mean try, she's going to do something. But when you're going to do something like that, I wanted her to clear her mind real fast. And so she came over, and Rachel could chime in if she's still paying attention. And probably not Margaret. This was the couple other little girls. And the so she comes over, and she closes her eyes. I said, "Okay, reach your hand out." Now, the fun part about the one little girl that we were connecting with is, she's trying to get used to things. But see, the thing is, I knew she was pointing at Rachel. So Rachel didn't know this now, because I didn't tell her this, but she was pointing at Rachel. And so that's why I had Rachel come over second after my other team member. So she comes over, and I said, "Okay, put your hand out." And, I just said, "Just relax and keep your eyes shut." And so I said, "Just breathe normal." And so she's reaching, and I was kind of watching for reactions, because I wanted to see what would happen. And then the little girl told me, I said, "Change your hand position." So I said, "Okay, turn your hand." turned her hand, and then I think that's at that point where she started noticing something different, where it was starting to touch the top of her fingers. And I said, okay. And then I think I made her do it like one or two more times. And then eventually I called her daughter over, the Pilar. So she came over. I said, put your hand in here. And then, after Pilar noticed that something was going on, and then I had Lisa, I'm like, because I knew Lisa I would appreciate having an experience too. So I grab her. I felt bad because I was like almost pushing her a little bit. I don't know, Dana, you probably didn't see that, but I grabbed Lisa by the hand and I kind of whipped her in front of me and pushed her over to the side. Not hard, but it was kind of funny because I wanted her to get as close as possible. And so I told her to put her hand out. And then her husband, Rick, came over. I'm like, yeah, get in here, get in here. And so Jen and oops, I said her name. We back out of the way. And so I had everybody's hand in like this like circle. And eventually it was kind of fun. Now, Lisa was having a little bit more trouble honing in, which is okay. But I was, up for the challenge to see if she could. And her husband Rick, man, you should have seen him. I mean, he was like me, he kind of was short sleeved and stuff, but he put his hand in there and it was literally seconds, 5-10 seconds. And it was funny is that, and I said her name, so I'm just going to keep saying it. So Jen and I are standing there and both her and I are looking at each other because we had everybody's eyes closed, and Rick had his hand in and you could see every hair on his forearm just, I mean, stood straight up. I mean, we're looking at each other and he's like, woo. I mean, that was some reaction. So I mean, you can't fake that. You can't just fake you're sensing things. And all his arm hairs were standing so straight up, and we were looking at each other just kind of giggling a little bit, but quietly, because it was so neat to see his reaction. Now again, everybody but Lisa was noticing things. Eventually they kept moving, Lisa's hand, and finally she started noticing something, and then she felt some cold, and it's like, okay, cool. And I had everybody, feeling this little girl, just that energy, that presence right there. And this little girl was great. She was doing fantastic for them and allowing that to happen. And because she kept warming up. And again, I think it was great that near the end that Lisa really felt something. And our other team member came over and was kind of watching from back a little bit because she was dealing with the other little girl. And eventually there's displays, on both second and third floors because it's a museum. And second floor is a little bit more like home life and stuff. So there's a kitchen scene, there's a bedroom scene, there's like a parlor, scene, there's a school scene. So in the one bedroom scene, there's a bed and a dresser and stuff like that. And so the one little girl that's a little bit more shy jumped up on the bed and stuff. And so even while everybody's eyes were closed, but me and, the other two Swippy members, we noticed that there's Jen's got this cool long EMF sensor, which is on it's kind of like a rope light. And if something hits the sensor, all these lights will go off, or some of them will go off. So it's really kind of cool. So it's this neat little rope EMF, and some of them are going off. So we were noticing it. And we were getting close to the end of the session before a break and then, move on. But I started having people slowly back away and stuff like that. And then eventually, the little girl that we were dealing with wanted to see her friend. So she jumps up, goes over and jumps up in the bed. And so we tried to we found out we had a little bit more time. So then we were kind of crowding around the bedroom scene and started connecting some more. And the one little girl wasn't hitting our other team member. Like she wanted to just feel that comfort, like she was there. And it was neat was that we're standing back, and I was real close I was at the other end of the bed. We're at the foot of the bed, but I was at the other end, and my other team member was sitting on the floor on the other side. Well, the little girl that's been talking to the rest of us that were there was sitting on the because they had the old style of bed rails and things like that, but she was sitting on there and she was just moving her feet and just kind of having fun holding it, because it's got one of those on the ends, it's got the long poles going up and stuff like that. So she's kind of holding on and just swinging and just watching everybody and just smiling. And our other team member is just like, I want to experience something. And I'm like, okay, and so eventually now my other team member can't see the rest of the group because her back is to this. And so I was motioning and doing a lot of stuff, without saying something, because I wanted to get this little girl to go over and either touch the other team member, or, just be close enough to where she'd feel something unusual, whether it's cold or whether it's just, the static feeling. And it was neat was that Jen came over and Jen got down because right as we were saying she wants to be touched, Jen moved over. She goes, well, okay. So Jen got close, knelt down behind her, and I kept pointing and I kept showing everybody where the little girl was at. And I'm like, motioning. I'm doing like she's like this, and so I said, okay, I want you guys to watch. And so I had her go down, and then I said, I said, go over to there and just kind of look. And so she was trying to poke and touch our other team member, and it was kind of fun to watch because I'm seeing this and I'm smiling the whole time because I think it's fun because she was really trying to get her attention. And uh and I was, describing things, as best I could non-verbally, which is hilarious. And eventually, we were out of time. So this went on for a little bit, but we were running out of time, and so Jen took it upon herself to have some fun, and because she really wanted something. Our other team member really wanted something. So she's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna 1, 2, 3. So she sure did it. And our team member looks back, is like, used a couple words and just like, ooh. So, but then we were kind of debriefing a little bit before we walked down, and they said that, hey, even during this whole thing, that the rope light stuff was going off a few times, and so we knew that that one or both of them were messing around, you know, making themselves known to us other than visually. So it was kind of neat. But yeah, she's like, yeah, I thought there was something going on behind me, but I thought it was like you guys like messing with me. And I'm like, well, no, no. I said, Jen got close to you, but she wasn't, motioning or really, doing anything by you. So it was kind of neat to just have that moment. So it was kind of a cool like kickoff for me for the night. I mean, we did the tour like we always do when you come out, and there was a lot of neat things that that do happen. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but there's a few things. But it was exciting to watch you know other people get to experiencing things and stuff. And I think like um Jeff put up there the feeling stuff, like there was another guy that he put his name in there so I can say it, but Jerry, he's a skeptic, and there's nothing wrong in that. And so he just hasn't had the experience. And and even then, like most things, you need to experience so much, or you really got to have that most profound moment that just finally opens you up or proves to you that there is something going on. And by no means am I going to tell him to his face that everything's legit. I mean, he needs to have that moment. And whether it's a series of small things or it's just like one big, you can't mistake that an apparition just appears in front of you and you're staring right at it. I mean, it could come down to that. But then again, at the same time, people that want to experience paranormal, you, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting to, Dana. The, the, the whole point of that stuff is to you got to have a little bit of openness to it, and it doesn't mean that you're being open to like where the worst of the worst is going to come over and like crawl all over you and cause all kinds of things and possessions, and it's not how it works. But in settings like the old mill, we don't really ever have anything that's super bad. We get some cranky stuff, but it's not, they're not going to be like, scratching the heck out of you and pushing you, violently and stuff like it's never like that there. And so I always said, and again, nothing against other locations and stuff, but we've always said this, if people learn of it, that and want to get, whether started in investigating, again, I'm not taking away from anybody, but we always felt that the mill was a good place because you can get a little bit of everything. You can get EVPs, you can get, the EMF gear to intelligently go off on your questions. You can see shadow figures, occasionally see apparitions with your own eyes, and you can hear disembodied voices. And so you can get a little bit of just everything, which is so fun and exciting. And I think that's why that's why I sort of kept going back, because even just a little bit of an experience, just helps like, okay, I get it, and uh so okay, I see Shannon. This time of year, through the current astrological standpoint, is the perfect time for it too. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's not always like Halloween. What I mean? It's not Halloween doesn't mean that that's all that the spirits come out to. There's definitely, whether it's celestial solstices, all that kind of stuff does still play a factor, and there's other things going on. Uh, what? Jerry asked me for some holy water and a Bible this morning, should I? Because I be better not, because he did ask me at some point if, he needed to worry about that. And even Harold said something about sage and stuff. And I'm like, no, not here. I mean, I've never had anything that was so horrible and evil that, you need to. Now, I have had to cleanse people before they left because of the fact that they did it to themselves and kind of opened themselves to the point of they were letting fear reside through everything. And it's unfortunate because you let fear and anger, we've talked about it in the past, but fear and uh okay, Jeff, you're killing me there. But fear and anger are the worst two things to have, whenever there's a haunting or you're at a location and things like that. It's um it's it's bad for that aspect because most people are fearful. You do see that. Thank you, Jen. Most people are fearful, which is why sometimes there's hauntings and why you see, you know, people, and I'm just saying people in general, because it's not just always, kids, it's not always just women, it's men too. I mean, they all have their moments. And again, if you let fear run your life where everything is just horrible, like you hear a knock, okay, it's a knock, but it's a knock. It's like, what's scary about it? I mean, even if it was like something like crashing through and just felt like, your walls are going to fall in, still doesn't mean that it's the worst thing ever. It's just like, it could be just wanting attention. Acknowledge them for a moment. Okay, thanks for making that knock. I get it. Okay, let's not do that again. Talk to it in the way, to just kind of calm things down. So I'm not I'm not a big, yes, there is locations that you do feel like you might need to, cleanse yourself a little bit more, smudge yourself and use sage. I say smudge because that's how I learned it, because sage is smudge. Smudging is the technique of what you're doing. Technically, saging is not what I usually refer to. Smudge is again, I base mine a little bit more that way, but same thing. But and even then, a lot of people do feel better after doing that too, so that's fine, totally cool. And if somebody ever says, like, we got a sage, you just don't just do it, don't question it, just do it, because that'll make everybody feel better in the entirety of the group or whoever's around. So uh but like I said, as long as you're not possessing the fear and anger, you're not going to have a problem. And like I said, I always tell people, and I've said it here before, I'm going to say it again now, if you're going to you're going to go to a haunted location, to whether you're just wanting to see if something will happen because you've never had something happen, or you're just curious, or, you see stuff on TV, but you want to see the location, up front, you know, you go in with the mindset is like, I'm here to just kind of see what happens, but at the same time, nothing's coming home with me. I'm not inviting anybody to come home. And that's the key. You know, Everybody's like, well, will something come home with me? And I always say, do you want something to come home with you? We're like, well, no. I said, then that's the attitude you need to hold this entire time. You're here to communicate or experience something, but at the end of the day, when you get in your car, that's it. It stays. So uh you never go into those situations or locations like that. You don't just be like, well, I don't want something coming home with it. Well, just stay there. Keep that mindset. I don't want anybody. So, hey, Linda, good to see you. Yeah, my house is like that. Quiet for a time, and the super active voices, sounds being touched, things moving, shadow figures, full apparitions, nothing harmful. Doing mean work to sage periodically when the house feels like correct. Yeah, and Linda's, she's been one of those that I've mentioned before in the past. She's helped me, developed. She's been one of those other key players in the back, and so I always, thank her for that whenever I get a chance to see her. And it's been a while, but yeah, I mean, it is. And even for me, like I said, my mindset, regardless of where I go, it's always, I always know I'm good and set. I've always had protection around me. Doesn't mean that you're still not vulnerable. You still, have those moments. I mean, I have, you learn things out of things. You figure out where your holes are in your game. you know we're not perfect, but at the same time it's good because you find I've been at a location, I've had some issues, I learned from them, and then I know what to expect or what may happen on different things. So you better yourself, and I didn't back down. I mean, you go through a rough moment, you're kind of out of it for a little bit, but then you stand back up, you go back in that same night, and then stand up to it and just be like, it's not going to happen again. I got it all. I figured it out, or help with others, that are helping you through it. But yeah, that's why it's like you just don't go in there with that attitude of saying, you want something to follow you home. I mean, who does that? I mean, weirdos, but then again, weird is good too. But, the people that are just kind of like, I don't know why you would. I mean, I don't, any location, because again, if you've never really had a good conversation, so like Linda and I and a few others, we do mediumship, we could easily, hey, Amy's another one. Yep, we could easily, bring stuff home with us, but why would we do that? Even if we have a good conversation and we have our favorite spots that we have investigated, why would we bring anything like that home? I mean, that's just ridiculous. We want them to stay there because that's where they are. Now, granted, like in places like the old mill and things, we're not going to sit there and if they see at any point, we won't allow anybody else to remove them. But if our spirits come up to us and being like, we're done, can you help us along? We're in. We will help cross people over. We're not a jail. We're not keeping things there that don't want to be there. If they want to stay, that's their thing. I mean, just like us, we all have rights. So um Amy, it's easy for untrained, energetically undisciplined people to open doors to entities. Having a clear focus on spiritual boundaries is important. Otherwise, yeah, things can follow. Yep. Right. My welcome, Matt. Go away. I like that, Debbie. Right, and Dennis, you're true. Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you got stuff that's already, had some things to it, I mean, then you do have it at home and stuff. So, but yeah, but that kind of goes back to that whole thing with, Jerry, is, on that skeptic thing, and he's still trying to have those bigger experiences and stuff. And, in the basement, we went to do a session down there, and I had a few people come over because when Marie, jumped and locks on to me like she always does, and she was right there. And even then, I don't even have to be tuned in. I can feel her because it's just like ice packs on my arm. And even then, last night was even more fun because there was a lot of static, electricity feelings. So it was kind of unique. And it's not like there was thunderstorms or anything, but it was really staticky, which was fun. And but Marie's locked onto me and stuff. And so I remember having a few people come up, like Jeff came over and got to feel, Marie a little bit, and then Jerry, Jeff's like, hey, Jerry, get in there. So I had Jerry come over, and I'm just kind of walking him through it because, again, he's skeptic, so he has no idea. I said, there's a few different ways your body's going to react different than mine is or anybody else's. So I said, here's a couple of things to look out for, and just to see if you notice it, like especially temperature changes. Any of us that does investigating, sometimes you get the coldest of cold spots, and sometimes it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's a few degrees difference, from like one spot to the other. And like for me, when Marie's on my left side and holding on, that side's always a little bit colder. So if you try, feeling on the right side of my body, just it's whatever. So, and he did notice a little bit of a temperature change, and he did feel the static. Now, again, it's not like we were both statically charged. So, you can also, do that debunking kind of theory because one, we're on concrete floors. So there's no way for us to charge up to build up any static charges, especially in a basement. And, but you could feel it. He would at times feel some weird sensations and things. So it was neat in that aspect. Now, whether that makes him a total believer, that's a different story. But does it add to, his plate of experiences on a minor level? Sure. He got a little taste of what a cold spot and a little static that shouldn't be there, whether he can describe it or not, and whether he wants to own up to it, that's on him, and like I said, I hope Jerry at least takes that and will move forward, whether he sees this particular episode or not. But, like I said, I'm not going to beat it into him and nobody else will. I mean, we all want him to experience things, but at the same time, we all know that have done this a while. You can't always expect an experience to happen. And even if you don't do mediumship where you can kind of tap in, investigators, can go sometimes a long time, a lot of investigations before you get something out of it, but that's the unique thing about it, is just being able to have little moments, and yeah, you can look at it too. It is a personal experience. You know what I mean? And what was it? I, we could play that game too. It's like, granted, I've been there long enough and I know what the sensations are without even tapping in. So for me, it's like, oh, there she is, because I just feel it get cold, on my left elbow area. And so I'm like, yep, that's her. And I don't have to tune in, you know, and that's what's kind of fun. But, that's what's neat about being at a location that you can investigate often. You get to go over and over and over again and get the same repetitive things, which is what, us as true investigators are doing. We want that repetitiveness so that way we can say to the world, yes, it can be repeated. And like me, having the old mill as a playground, but not like that, but a playground to where you can basically just have those opportunities, whether there's guests there or whether we go there as a team or, we go when the guests are on a break and go and, have a quick little chat. We get that repetitiveness down. And that's why, we say we're triggers half the time because any one of the team members that shows up in a room, because we'll have guests that say, hey, nothing's happening. And we'll walk in the room and then stuff's happening. So, I mean, now that has nothing to do with ego or anything. Again, it's just them being comfortable with us and, the team. And that's great because, again, if they can be comfortable and then finally give other people experiences, in whatever fashion, whatever piece of equipment they can, manipulate, that's awesome. And that's the whole point, being able to share those experiences and give people a little bit more reason that there is things we don't know. We don't know all the answers. Nobody truly can claim we know all the answers because we're still working hard at it. But being able to repeat things is the key because we all know that's what science needs. We need to repeat it. And so that's been my mission, at the mill, is just to be able to keep doing the things repetitively and keep having those things and then sharing them. So, hey, Dad. And that's what I love about it, is just having that chance to do that. And there's so many experiences that I've been doing, and I do my own little research, with our spirits at the mill, and it's just been a constant thing that I'm working on. Is that I probably would be able to have a book just on that, of just the experiments that I've done and the things that I've been trying for years. I've been at the old mill since 2012, and in fact, this month in particular is going to be another anniversary, for that. And that's awesome, and it's great to know that I've been there that many years and been there so many hundreds of times. But that's the fun part about it. I just love the fact that we can get those opportunities. And again, if it helps out, with science, and like I said, I'm not going to be able to convince everybody in the world, because you're still going to have those hardcore that just will try to do everything. But again, the amount of hours and the amount of investigations at the old mill, you, skeptics, I'm sorry, but this is like no, but this is like the best science I can do. I mean, hundreds of times, I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times being there over the years. And you imagine the amount of hours I put in, we're talking thousands and thousands of hours into this. So to just sit there and try to say no or come up with some weird, excuse that it's, not, I'm like, you have not put in any time. So you have nothing to say. Not that that's a problem, but I'm just saying in general in the world, because you're always going to have that. So, but that's their issues, not ours, that are trying to do this. Again, that's why it's great to be able to put all this time and energy all these years in, and to be able to um I Dad, I think that's just a silly statement, to be honest with you, because it would be weird for her not to be. Yes, big time. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't run out of time, but yeah, like I said, that was kind of more of just an open chat night the last night, and just kind of sharing things and going off, on different paths, of that whole thing. But you know, it's always a joy, and to be able to continue. Like I said, that's more of like the ending theme of this too, is just the fact that you know we'll look at whatever, experiences, evidence, and stuff like that, and we come at it as objectively as we can, and see if there's something that we can, because we're not going to sit there and say every piece of evidence is genuine, whether it's something we've collected or whether it's checking somebody else's out, because obviously everybody posts a lot of different things all over the world, on what they're getting and stuff. And you know half the time too, I mean, like, sometimes you can easily say no, or yeah, or what, there's just not enough information for me to say either way, because like sometimes you have to be in those locations at that particular moment, and that's, I think, makes uh, investigating a little hard is that there's so many elements behind it that you need to witness, see, and stuff like that. And if you don't have the whole picture, you can't say 100% one way or the other. So you kind of have to keep it in the middle and be like, well, you know, maybe I'll get to that location at some point, and then I can try different things if I was the one there, you know. But again, that's the best part about what we all do, and what we're all trying to achieve. And I, you know I hope that I can continue, for many more years to keep going to the mill. And I can't imagine that if I won't ever be able to go back. I mean, there's always that chance, but man, I don't know what I would do without my old mill, that's for sure. Yeah. Jeff, I'm telling you, it's just uh it's really worked out, and to be a part of a fun team and be able to be there often, and now that we're picking back up, we got a lot of privates coming up that are going to be in there, and so we'll be there a lot. And we're working on some public investigations, so we'll be able to make announcements for that. So we got some dates we're looking at, and we're hoping to throw those out there once we get approval, and get those set up so we can start having some more people back and checking things out. So um yeah, Debbie, big time. We've had SLSs, whether it's been people bringing it in. Our team used to have them, and so we've we've got a lot. We've seen a lot of interesting things. Some of it validated stuff that was going on at that particular year, long time ago. And right. Yeah, no problem, Dad. Like I said, I can't do it. I can't. I'm not going to put the date, even the suggestions, out there to anybody, because they might fall through, and then we have to find new dates. But we got 3 dates that we're going to work on. But again, we got to go through two different calendars, to get it all worked out. We got the museum side, and then we got the hall side. So we got two calendars to get approval for, but we're hopeful that it'll work out. And but yeah, once I get anything alerted, we'll put them out there. People can go up there and grab tickets and things. So I'll definitely keep you posted. But yeah, a good time. Good, like I said, in closing, had a great time. Appreciated everything from last night. Jeff, Dana, Rachel. You know, we had a good time, a lot of laughs, and there was a lot of laughs. I mean, a lot of them at an appropriate time, so it was a lot of fun. But that's the way it is. To That was at one point too, when I think it was when I was telling the story about the second floor. We were when we had the one little girl, sort of surrounded in a way, and she was having fun with everybody that was trying to feel where she was at. And we stopped for a moment, and we were kind of cracking a couple jokes, and it changes the energy. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that was when they moved over to the bed. But we stopped for a moment, and we cracked a couple jokes on purposely, because our team knows that you can only go so far, and then you gotta like, everybody's got to take a breath, in a way. Everybody's got to take a breather. So we'll talk about something else, or we'll crack a joke about something, and it changes that energy, and it kind of fuels the spirits a little bit, which is great because you want them to keep going. So we that's one of our little techniques we do, is we'll stop, and you wouldn't think to stop, but we do it, and it just boosts the energy up for everybody again, and then the activity continues, and we can keep collecting evidence. And so that is really cool. And so that's been something we've really tried at the mill, and that's something we've kind of done. And so now anytime we're at someplace else, it's hard when people don't understand what we're doing, especially if a couple of us are together. It's hilarious because we'll sit there and do that, and people are just kind of like, shut up, or like doing but it's like, we know it works because we've tried it so many times. But we usually explain it later on. But it's kind of neat that we'll do the same stuff anywhere we investigate together, and we have a hilarious time. And then people finally get it, because when the activity continues even longer, instead of it just being one short little window, then they get it. So that's one thing we've been passing on slowly. But yeah, it's hilarious. So yeah, let's see. Shannon, I'll just check out. Hopefully I'll be able to trust it when Frank can come too. This would be with both of us being there. Yeah, and Shannon, that's I've only met, and we're almost out of, we are out of time, but Shannon, I've known one, I knew one investigator that was deaf, and then his wife was too, but she didn't really ever investigate, but he did. And I've never had I've had some great experiences. He's been to our mill, and even we've been at other locations, and obviously, the communication is a little tricky, but sometimes we're like we're standing in front of each other and exchanging text messages type of thing, just so we know what we're saying. But uh, it is really interesting to work with somebody, you know, especially when they have one of the senses that they just don't have one. And I think it's very interesting to be about somebody that can't hear, because everything else gets enhanced. And I think it's a great idea. Well, I should say it's a great asset to things, because again, to then have a visual, sometimes the visual comes in a little bit, or sometimes just the feeling of things. And so I've had some investigations with that guy, and I haven't seen him in a while because of the pandemic and stuff, but we've done some investigations at a couple spots, and it's neat to kind of combine together. And even though we can't speak great together, but it's just neat. It's really neat to kind of share and see the whole thing, because like having a couple mediums together in a location is really cool. It seems weird at first, but when you finally realize the how we can work together and go back and forth, just makes everything good. And sometimes it's all these little pieces come together, and it just makes this big image, for everybody to be like, whoa. So I like that. So okay, see, Shannon's saying yeah, so I mean, there's plenty of more times we'll do things. I say everybody's like, have my dad out. Yeah, 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 for sure. Um, yeah, exactly, Shannon. Everybody kind of learns something, and even then, you never know what will happen. But yeah. So all right, so I'm a couple minutes over, which is never a big deal, but I'm going to let everybody go, because again, you might be having some Easter today or prepping for Easter tomorrow. I know I gotta do a good once over the house myself, so I get out of here and get all this stuff posted, and get on with Easter this weekend. So, or tomorrow, really, for me at least. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. And like I said, it wasn't really much of a set topic. There was going to be one, but I'm hoping in the future that when it does happen, because there were some things I had planned myself as well, and I wasn't. Nobody really knew, but I was going to have some other things I was going to try myself tonight. But it just, last night didn't work. But that's okay. There's always more time in the future, but we'll do that. We'll get some more things happening, and I'll definitely have some better stuff set up for next week and things, and we'll get that rocking out. And then yeah, uh thank you. Thank you so much. Happy Easter to all of you, especially anybody that celebrates it, and or if you're just still getting together to hang out with family and friends. Have a wonderful time today, and or specifically tomorrow. Enjoy yourself. And yeah, yeah, exactly, Dana. But right, happy Easter to all of you, and enjoy the time with family. And yeah, we'll be back again. Check out for some posts and things. Uh, I still get to have a little bit longer weekend, so even Monday I'm off, so I get to really have a good time. Yeah, and Jeff, peace out to my number one fan as well. So, yeah. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks Dana, Jeff, and Rachel, and it was good seeing everybody last night that were there, and of course our team that was there, and always a pleasure and neat seeing people and having some fun and laughs and great investigating. So all right, so happy Easter once again. Thank you so much for being here. So you guys have been watching the Mid-Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. I will see you guys next time, and as always, all my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. All right, later. Hey Kristen, I'm out, sorry. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.